Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm your host, Veteran Mountain Man. On this Prepared Monday, I wanted to remind everybody that unemployment, layoffs, and things happen. As we've been having threats and fights about a government shutdown, many of the non-essential government personnel will not be going into work today. And that is because the government has been shut down. Now, while I feel there might be some members of that non-essential personnel staff that can just be gotten rid of, regardless of the fact, I feel that it is important to remind everyone that we should always be prepared for something like this happening at our job. And that is because no matter what job you have, no matter how stable the job is, this kind of thing can still happen. So, as part of our Prepared Monday, I want to remind everyone that you should have more than $1,000 in a savings account. That you should be putting money away that is both long-term and short-term savings. And your short-term savings should be money that you can access relatively easy, that is relatively liquid. That means easy to translate capital. Versus something like a 401k, which is a medium to long-term savings, where you'll be penalized if you take money out. While these are both savings and both necessary, you should have both, not just one or the other. Now, that being said, realistically, I would recommend setting up the temporary savings before going into a 401k savings scenario. If you are already saving for a 401k, you might want to look at, say, taking a tax return this year, which is going to be coming up if you overpaid in taxes like I did, and using that to fund your savings account, or start a savings strategy where you put a little bit of money into your savings account and a little bit of money into your 401k. Now, if your company matches your 401k, don't diminish your 401k savings below the maximum contribution threshold. Always make sure that you accept the free money that your company is giving you in its entirety, because that is actually work benefit that you have earned. It's not necessarily free money. It's actually earnings. I know the government doesn't tax it as earnings. I know the company tries to make it seem like they're doing something magnanimous. But realistically, let's call a spade a spade. It's earnings. So make sure you take advantage of that and don't leave that money on the table. Also, if you are just getting into savings and you're considering an IRA because you don't have a 401k, make sure you understand the differences between a Roth and a traditional IRA. It's good to have both. If you can't afford it, make sure that you at least set up the traditional IRA, which will give you taxable breaks now. And yes, you'll have to pull the money out taxed, but when you retire and you start pulling money out of your IRA, your tax bracket should be much lower. And if it's not, then you've done something wrong. So make sure you get your savings set up, because that's kind of what this kind of stuff is all about, is being prepared for these kind of things. I mean, the government shut down at least 20 times since 95. Most of them were not very long, but they have. Well, thank you all again for joining me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, or thumbs up and subscribe on BitChute. Also, don't forget, I am broadcasting on Maker's Support. I do have some special content that's on Maker's Support and Patreon that you cannot access if you are not a supporter, but you only need to sign up at one, because both sites get the same material. And also, make sure you have a great Monday.